Wait. Are you kidding me? Wow, I've been talking forever and not even doing anything. That's awesome. No wonder things were fucked up. Wow. All right, I love this. I screwed up. Damn. I was talking for a while too. Let me see here. Shit. I thought I was streaming this entire time. I guess I wasn't. Wow, I'm a dummy. Oh, wow. Oh, I gotta love technology. All right. That's probably good because I was rambling and it was stupid. All right. So first off, let's start this over. Wow. Yeah, great. I guess I'll just repeat myself again. No, actually, because I got it out the first time and no one heard me, I guess I can clean it up and make it a little bit quicker for everyone. First off, if you don't know, I do a paranormal group on the side. So all last week I was out of town in Gettysburg. So I was unable to put out the video or do a live, and I apologize for that. Normally I do at least one live every week and I try to get a video out. However, I was not here. So, and Jerry, thank you for saying something, because I thought I was live the entire time. Wow. It's been a long week. All right. So today, we're going to talk about APC parts. I know a lot of people have asked about it. I am live right now, right? I am live, right? Yeah. Okay. It says live for a minute 33. Okay. Wow. Look, at some point, all you can do is laugh at yourself, right? Okay. So today is APC parts. So a lot of people ask about it and they want me to make a video and all this kind of stuff. And to me, APC parts is... Sorry, had to have some water. To me, APC parts is pretty simplistic. Yeah, thank you. Cause I was like, oh my God, I was literally talking for 45 minutes. That's how embarrassed I am, even more so now. Well, that's great. We're all human. We make mistakes. Well, because I scheduled it. I want the people to know that this was going to go live. So it was a little bit different than what I normally do. And I didn't know that there was a go live button, and it said it was recording. I mean, technically I could just hit play on what I already recorded, but that'd be kind of defeat the purpose. The purpose is I would like you guys to ask questions if you have questions. Because for me, APC parts is pretty straightforward. So I could do a basic description and stuff like that, but I feel like people have a specific confusion about it, right? And there's something that they don't understand as opposed to the generalized information, right? I feel like I think everyone understands, build material, do materials and then combine the materials to make parts, and you need blue cubes and you need orange cubes later on for Baneblade parts, and et cetera, et cetera. I feel like everyone kind of understands that. What's up, blah? What's up, Citadel? My parts factory is level 14. Okay, but you're early, so that's fine. BB. Yeah, Baneblade parts are greater than all, but the problem is later on you're gonna have to upgrade Baneblade parts, and that becomes a whole nother discussion. But today, before I confuse people, I want to talk about the basics, because I know there's a lot of new players here and they're just kind of getting it, so they may not fully understand. And I don't want to go too far into Baneblade stuff because a lot of people won't see Baneblade for a while anyways. So let's kind of medium it. We'll kind of do a little bit of intro. We'll talk a little bit about Baneblade. And if you have questions, please ask them. Just shoot them out so that we can, so I can hit them. All right. Not physically hit them, but, metaphorically hit them. So how do we start this? Okay. So I believe it's around level 20, base level 20, 21, you can build your parts factory and you can start building your energy refining factories. So your energy refining factories will give you blue cubes And your blue cubes will be used to make parts for your APC. Okay, that's the general thing here. You're about a month old. Yeah. So, I mean, you're early. So, and there's also a different tactic for people that have access to it early versus people who are late in the game. Because there's some people that are able to build Baneblade parts that may not even have all legendary normal like ranger parts. So I would consider you behind. And I only say that you're behind because you have people, let's be honest, you have people that spend a lot of money on this game. So by the time the average player has like 1 or 2 Baneblade sets, you know people have like 4 or 5. So just trying to be fair about it. So let's talk about from a beginning perspective. We know energy refining factories build blue cubes. As you level them up, you can produce more cubes at a faster rate. Your parts factory, as you upgrade it, you will get access to more material slots. You will be able to produce materials at a faster rate. And you will be allowed to build other parts materials, if that makes sense. So as you look, I mean, you could look at this yourself. I think, you know, most people understand this. This isn't very complex. For most people, okay, just to kind of explain this, you do not need to be at level 25. However, level 25 will give you the fastest material production speed that you can naturally get. However, the Imperator and the I think a lot of people have a question about this. So the Imperator, the Storm, and the Sweeper. Now the Sweeper is not available yet, but the Storm and the Imperator are from the get-go. Now these two, the Imperator and the Storm, if you're new, shoot, they don't even apply to me right now. Is a slow process without money? It is. No, it really is. It really is. Now there are things you can do, and I'll talk about how you can kind of speed that process up without spending a ton of money. But yeah, you're right. Even without money, it still does take time. But you can build a couple of sets pretty quickly at a very low cost. And we'll talk about that. I'll talk about that at the end. But I want to talk about the basics here. So the Imperator, the Storm, and assuming the Sweeper, they're all going to be in relation to rallies. Okay, so the Imperator is going to be fighters, but mainly in rallies. The Storm is going to be shooters, but mainly in rallies. And Sweeper is going to be vehicles, but mainly in rallies. Now, this will not come into play until later on. There's later seasons of Eden that have legions where rallies are important. That's where these parts are going to come into play. You do not have to worry about these for a long time. We've been playing it for a while now, and I have yet to have to build any of these parts. So looking at these parts, don't even worry about these parts here. Don't worry about these materials. Don't worry about these parts for a while. The ones you should be looking at are the Trailblazer, Phantom, Ranger, and Dreadnought. Now, the Baneblade we'll talk about later, but for your newer players, you will not have Baneblade until, I believe, the end of Season 1 of Doomsday, which will take you some time to get there. So don't worry about it. Don't rush it. So for now, we want to focus on Trailblazer, Phantom, Ranger, and Dreadnought. So the general breakdown here is Trailblazer is going to be for gathering, Phantom is vehicles, Ranger shooters, and Dreadnought is going to be for fighters. Now, the important thing here, the Trailblazer, the Trailblazer is good for gathering, right? 6 Eden, still no rally. Exactly. It's when you get into the legions and stuff, and a lot of people don't even do it. Now, keep in mind, rallies can be a huge game changer, but people don't really do them that much, or like they should. Now, it's a very good strategy to use, but yeah, most people don't. So your Trailblazer parts. So Trailblazer parts are good for gathering. However, to focus on them, I wouldn't do that. Now, if you have the VIP shop unlocked and you have your gathering APC, which I believe is at level 2, right? Yeah, level 2. If you have the gathering station, now your gathering APC, you can put parts in. You're having gathering parts, your Trailblazer parts in that APC is probably the most useful thing you can do. Now, if you want to have extras, if you have that much time and money and effort, and you want to make APC parts for everything, by all means, go ahead. But in my opinion, you're just wasting your time and your resources. So I would just build one set. If you have your gathering APC, put the Trailblazer parts into it and set it and forget it. That's the best thing you can do. As for everything else, so if you're a beginner, or I should say not a beginner, if you're in a early state, okay, until you get to Baneblade, you should primarily focus on APCs that have the same troop type. And in saying that, you should have heroes that roughly use the same troops. So what do I mean? So if I look at my APCs real quick, I have all shooters in this one. I have all vehicles in this one. These are all general, so they could be whatever. This one's all vehicles. This one's all shooters. I just purchased my second one today. You're on SP Heroes right now. Yeah, so, but the thing is, okay, so this is the important thing people forget. Parts are huge. They're a huge, huge, huge game changer, okay? Heroes only do so much. Buffs will drastically change things. You can have very weak heroes and have a ton of buffs destroy an SP hero, especially in the beginning. Later on, it changes, but in the beginning, parts do play a huge factor in success or failure in attacks. Okay. So, in saying that, when we look at our parts, your Phantom, your Ranger, and your Dreadnought are all going to relate to specific troop types. So when you go to make your parts, it's beneficial to put the same parts into the same APC with the same troop types, if that makes sense. Basically, what I'm trying to get at is in APC 1, if you're going to put Phantom parts, which are your vehicle parts, put all Phantom parts in there, and then make sure you put all vehicles in there, and then move things around. Yes, your first APC is going to be your class APC. There should be different buffs and stuff like that. It should be your strongest APC. So technically your first class APC, if you're a raider like I am, chances are it's going to be shooters. So you should have all Ranger parts in it. But the point I'm trying to get at is don't mix Phantom parts with Ranger parts with Dreadnought parts, because the benefit is not going to be there. The benefit of mixing the parts in that sort of fashion is not as good as keeping them all the same. Now, that's my opinion. Everyone has their own opinion, but you're going to get extra buffs for having all the same pieces than you will by mixing things. And honestly, there's enough shooter heroes, there's enough vehicle heroes in the beginning that you can have all the same troop type in an APC and be just fine. So you're going to be focusing on building these parts. Now, how do I build these parts? Basically, you need to get the materials and produce them, right? That's a pretty simplistic understanding, right? We come to the material page. You pick your type. If you're new and you don't have the if you don't have the common materials unlocked, which I'll talk about how to unlock that, you'll have basic materials. Now, your basic materials are going to be the lowest quality materials. You will build 10 of them, and it's going to take forever, and you know, it'll take you a very long time. You can speed them up individually. but you will also be able to unlock the mass speed up, I believe, in VIP level 3. I believe. Let me double check that for you. I don't want to talk without double checking. I know I looked it up earlier. Yeah, mass speed up part material production. So like I said, in the VIP videos, VIP can be beneficial. It could be a time saver, it could be a game changer, but it's not also necessary. Yes, mass speed up will speed everything up faster. However, you can come to your materials and you can click on the little arrow and you could speed these up individually. Now, what's the best time to speed up? I know I've made the videos about the hourly challenges. Now, if you go to your hourly challenges, obviously today's hero day for cause. If you don't know that, that's fine. But if you come to like Friday and you look, if we scroll all the way to the top, because most of the time the first hour of reset is going to be use any speed up items. We like to call this parts hourly. Basically what this means is the speed up that you can use is going to be for materials. You could speed up your materials and get the hourly reward, which will help offset the cost of speeding up your material production. Okay, so anytime you see this, now this will pop up probably what, like 3-4 times a day. That's 4 hourly challenges where you could speed up your materials and get extra buffs, or not buffs, but extra stuff. You get extra cash, extra diamonds, hero XP, the hero tokens, other speed ups, and resources. So if you're going to speed up the materials, do it on those hourlies. Here's one here. Well, that was the first one. Speed up training. There's a couple of them. Use any speed up. Use any speed up. So that's 3. And I believe there's one more. 4, 5. There's about 5. Yeah, 5 or 6 every day. Building day 2. Yes. So building day. So any day other than Thursday. Pretty much will always have an any speed up hourly. Thursday is the only day that I can, no, I take that back, and gathering day, I believe. But Thursday for sure is the only day that won't have an any speed up hourly, and that's because it's hero day. But every day of the week should keep in mind, have an any speed up hourly. Yeah, I don't think it's on Monday as well. Just to double check. Yeah, I don't see one on Monday. But Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, Saturday, and depending on what you pick on Sunday, should have any speed up hourlies. And that's when we call it parts hourly. That's a good time to speed up your material production. If you don't have the mass speed up in the VIP, just click on the little arrow here. And people forget that. They don't even know it's there. You can use either speed ups or you can use diamonds, whichever you prefer. I personally just use diamonds, but you know, it is what it is. And get the hourly. Now for me, it's like 4 or 5 full rounds of the basics, and your last material on each type is going to be the longest one. This one will take 12 hours at a full upgrade, and the other ones will take 6 hours at a full upgrade. Now I specify full upgrade. What I mean by full upgrade is not only is your parts factory level 25, but the thing that people overlook all the time, your parts production technology. This right here is huge, and people ignore it because they think they have to be strong and they got to get the fighters all the way to tier 9 unlocked, and they got to get their tier 9 shooters immediately and all this other crap. Look, parts are going to be huge. Do not ignore this. Now, blue cubes will be needed to research your technology here. However, you will unlock extra slots in your technology. You will do energy cores faster. You will do materials faster. And the most important things later on is you're going to speed up the crafting of your engines and parts. And you're going to reduce the cost of your parts. And you're going to be able to build 2 more factories. But on top of all that, the most important thing in the parts production is not this crap all up here. Now, these things are nice and they help. But the most important thing in the parts production technology are going to be these last 4 right here. Really, these last 2, let's be honest. But new materials is going to unlock production of common materials. And material division is going to allow you to split materials and parts into cores. And that's going to be your big thing. Now, why is common materials so big? Well, your basic materials are black. They're the lowest level. Your common materials are going to be 5 greens. So when you look at the scheme of things, when you go to combine, 5 greens is going to automatically be 1 blue plus 10 of the black is 2 green. So how do I word it? The conversion is better to create the green over the black ones anyways. So your basic materials are going to wind up being, or your common materials are going to wind up being a better bang for your buck than the basic materials. On top of that, the other way that you can get materials quicker is going to be the material shop. You're going to get energy fragments. You can get energy fragments from hourly challenges. You can get energy fragments from zombie attacks. Now, you won't get a lot here and there, but they do add up because you will forget that they're even there. And all at once you can cash them in and get a bunch of crates. Now, which crate you should get, the green or the blue, that's completely up to you. I personally like to get the green ones. They're a little bit cheaper. You get more. Now, granted, the blue ones can give you higher quality, but they do cost a lot more, and so it's quality, quantity kind of deal. I like the option of being able to have more of things and figure it out, but everyone has their own tactic. The goal at the end of the day is to create the highest level part that you can. How else can I get parts and blue cubes? Because we're not going to talk about orange ones just yet. How else can I get parts and cubes? The VIP shop here. You will be able to buy blue energy cores in your VIP item shop after level 2. What else? There was another one too. I was just talking about it. No, that's going to be for orange. Events, value packs, these sort of things that can all give you blue cubes. So what does this all mean? What am I telling you all this basic bullshit for? Because the goal here is to craft the highest quality part that you can, right? So what does this mean? Does this mean I have to wait until legendary to build a part? No. For those of you in newer states, if you are able to produce a purple pretty quickly, I would do that. However, if you're behind the 8 ball, which I would consider, if you have access to Baneblade parts and all of your APCs do not have almost all basic legendary parts, and I'm not even talking about Baneblade, I'm just talking about Phantom or Ranger, I would kind of consider you behind the 8 ball, because I feel like by the time Baneblade comes out, you should at least have legendary parts in your APCs, whether they're Phantom or Ranger or whatever. Now, that doesn't mean you have to. It's just what I would personally consider. Everyone has their own way of playing and looking at things. That's what I would consider. But if you're early, like you said, your state's you said your parts factory 14 and your Your state's only like a month old. Well, I would consider you early. So go ahead and build a purple part. Get that out there. Get your little buffs and then work on your legendary parts. Once you have your parts, you can always split them and get the equivalent of materials back, and then use those purples to start creating legendary parts. But the overall goal is to try and get all legendary parts. And the reason I say you should get all legendary parts is because when Baneblade comes out, you're ahead of the curve. Now, what is Baneblade parts? Let's talk about that real quick. Baneblade parts are basically a way for you to have mixed troops APCs and still get massive buffs. This way you can combine fighter heroes and fighter troops with vehicles and shooters and not lose every time because someone has all phantom parts. In saying that, why should everything be legendary when you go to make a Baneblade part? In my opinion, in my view, a purple Baneblade part is not as beneficial as an all legendary phantom APC. The buffs are not equivalent. You will get more buffs for having an all vehicle APC with full legendary parts, full legendary phantom parts, than you will with purple Baneblade parts, if that makes sense. Because if you look at it, you get 20, 12, 12 for might, tactical might, and troop load. But if I were to go to phantom, for example, what was I looking at there? Suspension. Yeah, 20, 12, 12 might, tactical might, and troop load for suspension. If I go to phantom suspension and I go to legendary, you get 30, 30, 30. 4 oranges infusion into 1 legendary without losing cubes. Yes, you can. So if you do all orange and then you get all the other ones up to orange and then you split them and then you can do the legendary, or you can get 3 oranges and 1 legendary part and you could play the little gambling game. So there's many ways you can do it. You could play the gambling game. You can do 3 purple parts and 1 legendary part and have a 20% chance of getting a legendary and get it. You can gamble if you want. Worst case scenario, you don't get the legendary, you wind up with a purple part. But I don't like gambling when it comes to that kind of stuff. I just personally like to wait until I have all legendary because I try to take advantage of those parts hourly, and by doing that I get to the legendary fairly quickly. But I know not everyone has that option. Now and that's why I say when it comes to the Baneblade, just wait until you have the legendary to fit in here. I would not sacrifice your APC's parts just to get 1 Baneblade set, by the way. What does that mean? My first Baneblade set, I started from scratch. Okay, all my APCs had full legendary, whether it was Ranger or Dreadnought or Phantom parts. And I didn't touch them when I built my first Baneblade set. Now, after that, I started utilizing those legendary parts into the making of the future Baneblade sets. And the reason I did that is because I didn't want to weaken my APCs to get 1 Baneblade set, because 1 strong APC was not going to outweigh the loss of 3 fairly stronger APCs. Basically, I would be sacrificing the strength of all my APCs just so I can have 1 strong one. That, in my mind, did not make sense. But in saying that, for those of you that have Baneblade or are about to come into Baneblade parts or looking forward to Baneblade parts, in order to make 1 legendary Baneblade part, you will need 96,000 orange cubes. And this goes into what we were talking about with Baneblade parts is a slow process without money. And it is so true. So normally you don't get that many orange cubes all at once. Okay, so let's talk about how you do get orange cubes in a fairly natural manner. Okay, you can get orange cubes in a variety of ways. In the commercial hub, which I don't have a helicopter there now, every so often it will show up as an orange cube that you can buy by using blue cubes. That is one way. Now, there is not a lot of orange cubes in the trading commercial hub, but it's something, right? Another way you can get orange cubes is in your VIP item shop. I believe it's almost every third day, every other or every third day, there will be orange cubes here that you can use VIP points for to get some orange cubes. It's, once again, not a lot, but it does add up. Another way that you can get orange cubes is through Wendels. Level 25 and level 30 Wendels will give you orange cubes if you defeat them successfully. However, anything prior to where even I'm at, a level 25 and level 30 Wendell is going to give you the same amount of cubes. And it's kind of, the first one will give you 120, but then afterwards you're only going to get 20 orange cubes, which is not a lot. 20 in comparison to 96,000 is not a lot. Another way you can get orange cubes naturally is events. Okay, look at your events. This one does not have it, but every so often, most of the time, these events do have orange cubes in here. If you can get the extras, you will get extra orange cubes. That does add up. Okay, your events will have a good chunk of cubes that you can get, which is really good. You could also, once it opens up in your Doomsday shop, I would not suggest doing this, but in your Doomsday shop, you can get super energy cores, and an event that does have orange cores right now is going to be your all-star champion. If you go to the token shop, there is orange cubes here that you can get, and that is a benefit. Okay, these are some of your natural ways that do not cost a lot or do not cost anything to get. However, it still will take a long time in order to get 96,000 for one Baneblade part. And keep in mind, you will need 6 Baneblade parts. So I don't know the quick math on that, but basically, let's say it's 100,000. So you're going to need roughly 600,000 orange super energy cores in order to build a full Baneblade set. Okay, 600,000, give or take, to build a full Baneblade set. So just keep that in mind. So what's our other options of getting orange cubes? Well, you can go to the packs and you can buy the $100 one. I know there's a $100 one. There's always a $100 one, right? There's always a $100 pack. If you're American, it's $100. I don't know what it is in whatever currency you might be in whatever country you're in. But in America, it's 100. And I'm sure it's probably roughly equivalent in wherever you're at if you are not watching from the States. But yeah, there is an orange one because there's always an orange one somewhere, all the way at the bottom somewhere. Boop, 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 boop. Holy crapola. Let's just trust me, it's here. I think it's 45,000, okay? For 100. I believe that's the number. Don't quote me on it. Oh, here it is. Yeah, 45,000 for $100. That's not even one full Baneblade set for $100. Okay? Whatever. It is what it is, right? I mean, look, spending money in this game is not something that should shock most of you. However, there is a way around this that will be cheaper. It may take you a little bit longer, but it will be cheaper in the long run. And by the time the materials are built and ready, I mean, you should have enough orange to build your next part. But there are other ways to do it. How? Benefits. If you go to benefits and you go to your trade supplies, if you scroll down, you will, for $5 1 week, get 1,500 super energy cores. That's 10,000, almost 11,000 super energy cores for $5. Yes, that takes a week, but it's going to take you a while to get the 4 legendary parts you need to make the 1 Baneblade part. So there's no real rush on that. How else can we do it? Take advantage of the $5 or $10 packs that do have the super energy cores in them. Every day there's going to be a special. Every day, week, month, whatever it is, there's usually a special pack. There's generally one that has super energy cores, and it winds up being, 4,000 or 8,000 for $5 or $10, depending. And those do add up. If you can take advantage of those, $5 here, $5 there, you do that. It does add up for the energy cores, and it's not too hard on the wallet. If that's the route you want to go. But if you want to go fully natural, it will take you some time. There's no way around that, but it is possible. So, and then just however long that takes, multiply it by 4, because you need like 4 sets. No, I'm just kidding. Really, you only need 3 Baneblade sets in the scheme of things. And the only reason I say 3 is because if you want to do championship duel or something, you can only have 3 APCs, right? So if you're going to have only 3 APCs, you might as well have 3 Baneblade sets. The 4th one can be whatever the hell you want it to be. But if you want to be super duper cool kid, then yeah, you are going to want 5 full Baneblade sets, which is hard to do, or expensive to do, I should say. And then you'll be sitting, I guess, pretty, assuming everything else is good. But who knows? But with that being said, and honestly, that's basically parts in a nutshell for beginners. And the reason I say that is because I know a lot of people have asked for me to discuss parts, right? But I know everyone has a different reason you need 5. I mean, technically you do need 5, but I mean, it's going to take, you do. I mean, if you have a defensive queue, can have all Baneblade, your 4 APCs can have Baneblades. I mean, but it does take a long time because you need the orange cores, the super energy cores, and they take forever. But I bring this up because that is basically parts in a nutshell, right? Later on, you can upgrade Baneblade parts, you can add mechs, there's all these other things that you can add into it. But for generalized purposes, for beginning introduction, I feel like that's kind of it in a nutshell, right? You always want to try and get the highest quality part in your APC, I guess as quickly as possible. But as quickly as possible means different things for different people. But in saying that, I feel like there's something else that people may not understand about parts. And that's why I kind of want to open it up to you guys, whether you're watching this live or you're watching it later. What is the question that you might have about the parts that you aren't understanding? Because to me, that's the simplest. It's pretty straightforward. Okay, it's pretty simplistic and it's pretty straightforward. But I know everyone is confused about different things, so I want to open that up to you guys, because if I don't know specifically what it is about the parts that people don't understand or they have the question about, then I don't really know how to approach it. Because to me, this makes sense, but I know I'm not everyone. And I don't want to speak for everyone. So I feel like everyone has a different question about it. So if you could just tell me what it is that you may not understand about it, then I can help answer that question. But to me, it's very straightforward. constantly fill your energy refining factory. Always try to grab super energy cores wherever you can, and store them. Try and build legendary parts over any other parts, and you know, that's it, right? Legendary parts are always going to outweigh. Always keep the same troop type parts together unless it's a Baneblade part. So if you're going to start with Phantom, keep them all Phantom. If you're going to go with Ranger, do all Ranger parts. Don't mix and match. It's no benefit to mixing and matching. You're better off with 6 pieces than 4 and a couple other things. Now, if you have to, okay, I don't know what your heroes look like. If you have to mix APCs, by all means, I understand why you would mix parts, but I would still suggest against it. I would rather put a lower hero in there and build them up than to mix and match troops and parts. I just feel that the parts benefits outweigh the mixing of troops. There's no purpose. So that's why I'm not sure why people have a lot of questions about it. And that's why I kind of wanted to do a live as opposed to recording a video, because I wanted to open that forum for people. And whether you have the question now or you want to leave it in a comment later and I could talk about it or answer it in a comment, or I could make a video about it later, that's completely cool too. I don't want to put anyone on the spot to feel like they have to ask that question right now, but I've had a lot of people ask me to make a video about the APC parts. And I mean, I feel like that's it in a nutshell. I mean, yeah, I did ramble, and I know it's not an exciting topic, okay? There's not much I could talk about here. Each part does something different. It speeds up your APC marching speed. It speeds up your combat speed. It speeds up your resistance and your might. Different parts speed, boost different things. We could talk about that, but in the scheme of things, I don't know what people may have a question about. So if you have a question, ask it. If you want to leave it in a comment later on, we can do that too. But yeah, I feel like that's about it. I don't really have much else to say on the topic right now. And I want to finish up before I call it a night and end the stream. Before base 30 to make points on construction day, we all made parts and speeding up parts. Yeah. Yeah, so on those hourly challenges for any speed up, especially before base 30, you should always be focused on speeding up those materials for parts, or speeding up the parts themselves, whichever way it is. Whichever way you look at it, parts is what you should be focused on with that. Now, whether you use diamonds or use speed ups, it doesn't matter. But that's what your number one focus should be. So yeah, I mean, to me, that it's, and that's, I'm not trying to, I'm trying to just kind of put myself in mindset of a newer player. Like, I feel like there's a lot of people that don't understand how battles go in general, and they don't understand what, normal attacks are versus tactical attacks versus how resistance and attacks get applied, or skill damage gets applied versus might and all this stuff. Like, I feel like that might be more the confusion than the actual parts themselves. And I feel like that's a topic I've always wanted to get into, how a battle actually goes and what every meaning does. And I know I talked about it slightly in the troops video, but I feel like that is a huge misconception and misunderstanding on a lot of players' parts. And because of that fact, players that you could see the players that don't understand that are attacking players that are way out of their league and getting frustrated or not understanding why they're losing the battle all the time, and not just losing it, but getting decimated. And they don't, I feel like that's where a lot of the issue is coming in. Not necessarily the parts themselves. Now, some people probably have questions about the parts themselves, like, you know, how can I get super energy cores better and faster and stuff like that. That I understand. But when it comes to the buffs, that's a whole different topic, because buffs need to be talked about with battles, not with the parts themselves. So if you have a question about how the buffs get applied to parts, or why parts buffs are important, that's a discussion on how battles are run and how heroes are applied to battles. And that's kind of how I was setting up that series, because the next step was to talk about the battles and how all those skills and buffs and the Hopeness Lab and the parts and all that shit, how that shit gets all applied, because that's a whole different discussion. So, but yeah, really quick though, to sum up what's going on right now, there's a few, I mean, they keep popping out the old skins, so if you want a chance at an old skin, go for it. Right now there's a few events going on. You got the All-Star Incentive Program, which is actually pretty cool, because you got their new decoration set, which is fine, that's cool and dandy. But at the end here you have a Mech Kong permanent, which is actually pretty cool. It's not a fantastic buff thing, but it's still a cool little skin that you can get. What else is going on? Oh, I'm sorry, and the last thing I forgot to mention, one of the biggest things in order to get super cores, another thing to always look for is the cumulative purchase events, the continuous purchases, and those sort of things. If you keep an eye out for those and plan your purchases, if you do purchase on certain days, that will rein you in huge benefits. So it's not always about spending a ton of money, but spending your money on certain days at specific times in order to get the benefits that you want or need. So always keep that in mind as well. What other events are going on? I know we're finishing up. We're at the last day of Eden, thank God. This has been the longest Eden ever. We are at Tally in 2 days and 24 hours, which I cannot wait. That means one more structure day. I'm so over Eden right now. We had a very rough Eden, okay? Not that I don't enjoy it. It's just Eden has been rough for us. It's been a very, very bloody season for Eden Rising. There's been a lot of animosity between guilds. There's been a lot of aggression, and it has been crazy. So, hopefully we'll be ending this fairly quiet, but I expect the last structure day to go crazy. So, but yeah, keep an eye out for your events. If there's ever a question on events, or you have a specific question about the APCs or how they're formed or whatever, ask it and I can answer it for you, okay? But if there's no other questions tonight, I've been talking because the first half of my stream, I wasn't even talking. I wasn't even live. So, yay me. Yeah, and that's about it. So, if there's nothing else going on, leave a comment later on. I'll get to it. And, yeah, until then, I guess, I hope that answered something. I hope that clarified some things for you guys if you had questions about the parts. Don't ignore your tech, please. When it comes to the parts, do not ignore this. This will help you out big time, and it's not that hard to finish. So make sure your tech is done. The parts factory leveling up is not that huge of an ordeal. But yeah, that's about it. So yeah. And don't forget, any questions about anything, throw it in the comments too, because the next video I was working on that was almost done is about Fallen, okay, being in Eden and being in Fallen status, because a lot of people, especially if you've never played Eden before, they don't understand it. So I broke it fully down and what your options are and what you can do. So that should be the next video. Hopefully I'll have that out before the end of the week, and we'll schedule the next live for next week, and we'll figure out what topics we want to talk about. So until then, have a great rest of your week, guys. Help each other out, answer each other's questions. Try not to kill each other. No matter how frustrated you are or how stressed out your season is or whatever, you're still a team. Try not to kill each other too much. It's a game. So, and yeah, help each other out, look out for each other, and most importantly, be safe out there, have fun, and share information, help each other. Until next time, guys, bye.